Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Excuse my attire, I raced today and did a half marathon, and here's my finisher medal that I'm super pumped about. And it's actually very timely because today I'm actually going to answer a question that somebody had posed for me. And their question was, they'd registered for a race in the past, and with that race they had a lot of motivation to do it because they weren't sure that they could possibly perform the race and actually complete the race. As a result of completing it, they got to this place, well now I can do that. So then all of a sudden the motivation to do a race at that same distance wasn't there anymore. And you might be thinking, well, that's great, but I'm not an athlete and I don't race. But that can really be taken in any aspect of our life, because it can be to get that certain partner. You work so hard and you meet that extra special somebody, and then all of a sudden you get them and you get complacent and you lose the motivation to still nurture and cultivate that relationship. It can be a job. You're so grateful when you first got that position. As a result of being there for months or years, all of a sudden you start to take it for granted. So it's actually a question that can really be poured into every aspect of your life. And people ask me, today I went out and, this is my off season as being an endurance athlete. In the last 3 weeks, I've only ran 4 times. So I've really been taking it easy. And I still was a half marathon distance, so 21K or 13.1 miles. And I was actually able to get a personal record. So I actually ran it today in 1 hour and 21 minutes and had a phenomenal race. And I was super pleased with myself. And the question was how do I get so motivated to do these things? I want to talk about levels of awareness, because whenever we do something, the first level is avoiding pain. So really, it's like to do a race, to get a job, to get into a relationship, or to create an income, or to do something extraordinary. A lot of us are motivated by fear, of this fear that we're not good enough, or not capable enough, or we can't do it. And then as a result of achieving that, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can do this. And then all of a sudden that motivating fear now goes away. So it's like, well, I can do it, so I don't have motivation to do it anymore. So you won't pour your heart into that relationship. You won't pour your heart into your work or any recreational endeavor like running a race or being an athlete or sculpting a painting or pursuing a craft or whatever it is you love to do. So once we move away from being afraid of something, we know we can accomplish it, then we actually have to look for pleasure within doing that activity. And when we have pleasure within doing that, that's what it's about for me. As a result, I've been doing endurance events for several years, and I've done races as long as 100 miles lasting over 20 hours. So I'm not afraid. There's never a question of if I can do it, but it's the journey of the training, of the experience, going out there and executing the best possible race that I can do. And I'm super excited to do that because, one, that brings me a lot of pleasure. And then once we start seeing the pleasurable things that pour into our life as a result of pouring our heart into doing something and knowing that you're totally capable of doing it, we can then move away from what I call this pain-pleasure cycle, where we have pain on one side, pleasure on the other side, and rather than being motivated by fear, and rather than seeking pleasure, we move to this place right in the middle, which is like a synthesis of pain and pleasure, where we're actually doing things because we're inspired to do it. There's something deep within our soul that connects to that activity, to that relationship, to that job. And that may sound like, well, how do I do that? Well, it's easy. It's to find the things that bring you joy within the pursuit of doing that activity or doing that endeavor or that craft or whatever it is you're interested in doing, your job, home, work, everything. So what is it within you that lights up? And that light, that thing that lights up, that's that special something. That special something that transcends anything. It's like right now, I'm a little bit fatigued right now, but like I'm on fire. It's like I just had the most spectacular race. It was a personal record. I executed the absolute best race, and I shaved my old personal record this distance by almost 3 minutes. and I'm in half the fitness that I usually am in the summertime. So that's phenomenal. And like, I'm just like lit up like a Christmas tree, and there's a feeling and a fire and a light within me that we can all experience when we really dissect what it is we're doing, and we find that very specific thing that allows us to actually experience that increase in vibration, that increase in resonance, that light within us, that just like that joy, that certainty, that pleasure, because it's all in there, it's all within you. And the experiences that we choose to engage in can cultivate that. So to recap, once we haven't done something, we're afraid, we're motivated by fear. Can I do this? So there's a lot of time, energy, and input in doing it. Then the next phase is, well, let's seek some pleasure from doing this. Like, what good can come from this? And it's still external from you. The third and the highest level is pure inspiration. Inspiration is being connected in spirit. And when you're connected to in spirit, that's when the intangible emerges. And when the intangible emerges, that's when that feeling of being on cloud 9, like I'm on right now, becomes such that awesome feeling that you just like pour your heart into it, because there's that really that craving to connect to that place deep within you as a result of being on the journey of pursuing those things. I'm super excited about this concept because it's actually in my new book, and we've just set a date. My new book is going to be out this October, and there's like a couple chapters that talk about this pain-pleasure cycle and getting into your certainty and power and inspiration. So this is like a prelude to that. Hope it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, be sure to fire me some questions. I'm happy to spell it out for you further. And have a wonderful week, my friends.